All right, so what we're gonna do in this lecture is I'm gonna go ahead and break down some of the production on P Diddy's or Puffy's song "I'll Be Missing You." Okay, it's an example that Matty G used to show you the different chord progressions, right? But what I'm gonna do is show you how the inversions and the arpeggio, which I taught you in the last section, really are relevant and key techniques. Okay, and I'm gonna show you just expanding on that whole aspect of things. So let's go ahead and cover the chord progressions one more time here. You had that 1 chord, the 6 chord, 4 chord, and the 5. Okay. Now if you're gonna of course invert it, stay there at the C, but you're gonna have to invert that next chord, which is the 6th chord. All right, so that's inverted 6th chord we do like this. And so the next 2 chords, that 4 chord, so here we go. Right? But that doesn't sound really a whole lot like that the Puff Daddy song "I'll Be Missing You." He kind of slowed it down instead of having it go so fast. So that's another thing you can do in your production. You can slow down the chords. So I'm gonna play the drums here. Okay, instead of doing it like the old jazz players would do. I'm sorry, I just kind of messed up on that drum beat. You see what I'm saying? So you can instead of playing it faster, you can play it slower, and it gives it a whole new dimension to your production. I'm going to go ahead and lay this down, and then we're going to talk about some of the other elements of what he did with the arpeggio. Okay, so I'm just laid that down. It has a basic, whatever. So let's talk about the second part and the main part of the song here that we have going on. If you remember the song, he breaks the chords up, but he doesn't just break them up right here. He breaks it up like this. Okay, so and all he's doing, he's playing the core notes. He might throw in one note that's maybe kind of off the grid of those 3 notes in that chord, but he's playing those 3 notes. Look, first thing you know he's playing. See, think about it like this: the C, the E, and the G. He's gonna play all 3 of those notes in that arpeggio or that breakdown of the chord. C, G. He plays C again, G, E, and he kind of adds a little extra jazzy element with D. And then he just does the same thing, the same type of pattern on the 6th chord. So he's playing the bass note right here. So let's record that real quick. Quantize that. Again, it goes down to instrument selection. It sounds kind of cool with the piano, but when you change it up and then you use like a guitar sound, right? So if we kind of find a plucking guitar sound, you know. Okay, it's that simple. He added some. He used a guitar sound, but he kept that same chord progression right there. Used a guitar sound, and he put some type of a delay effect on that particular instrument. Now, of course, you have to have the bass, right? So now you have a bass instrument. You need a bass instrument at this point. Move this up here. So all you're going to do is play that 1, the 6, the 4, and the 5. You can get jazzy with it in between on each of the chords in that bass. But it's best to keep it simple. Okay. Probably should have just kind of kept it simple. And you know, the song begins to come together, but if you listen to it, really he's not playing a whole lot of extra stuff. You see what I'm saying? He's playing those same notes and pretty much playing whatever notes were in that chord. And that chord progression, actually. That's the 6. That's the 4. And that's the 5. All right, so check this out. He would probably play the strings too. You know, the strings would be a key element. And I just inverted the chord. Now, the way I played those chords honestly kind of took it back to like 1980s, right? But then if you throw a basic, like a dope hip hop beat over it, and this is going to be a shameless little plug right here. I mean, of course, both Matty G and I also have a GarageBand course here where it shows you how to operate GarageBand. So if you kind of have questions on like, hey, how did you access this? How did you do that? Et cetera, et cetera. I have a course that's geared mainly towards creating beats in GarageBand. And so I show you where everything's at, how to operate the drummer and everything like that. Matty G has a course as well. I mean, so, you know, you can take your production to the next level there as well. But I just wanted to show you just the whole concepts of really just taking those basic principles of using the chord progressions, then using inversions, and then arpeggios. And you see it live in a real song here that's actually been produced by, like, say, Diddy. You know what I'm saying? And all he's doing is he changed the instrument, right? He used that muted guitar. Go back and listen to that old record. You use the muted guitar. He has a little reverb on there. You can add some effects to your music. He breaks it down. You know, then instead of playing everything together like on the piano, where you have the chord and the lower part that you're playing together as just one record, you split it up. Take the bass part of that chord progression, the 1, the 6, the 5, the 5 and the 4, or 4 and the 5, excuse me, and you play that with a bass instrument. Right? It doesn't even have to be this bass sound. We could even got freaky with it and took that bass sound and we could put it in a different bass, sound right here. And instead of, using it like this, excuse me, instead of using this particular instrument, we could have took that and put it right here. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so you can see how the simplicity of things, right? These are simple concepts. You learn the chord progression, okay? Then you learn how to invert the chord progression, okay? And then you learn how to, use arpeggio within that chord progression, okay? And it doesn't have to be the same type of format. You just have to have some of the same notes that you play in those chords. You can play them lots of different ways. And then you also want to change the sounds, okay? And you want to add effects. This is production, man. It's real simple, But once you actually break it down and hear it in a real song that's been already produced and laid out for you, right? Then it starts to kind of all make sense. Production, I'm telling you, is made up of simple processes, simple techniques put together, which makes a complex, amazing sounding song.